Chuck Finley's first pitch. Nailed the Mickey Tailpin right on the knee. Both sides came out as the beginning of a bench clearing brawl started, although there's really no action in this, even though everyone came out. Eventually, Finley and Rader argued as Finley was the only one ejected from the game.
Bottom of the third, 2 outs, 2-2 count to Cecil. That's called a ball. Kevin Brown can't believe it. Next pitch, how many times you seen it? Cecil leaves the yard, 3-run homer. And how many times you seen this? Kevin Brown will go ballistic. He wanted the called third on Cecil. Instead, he gets tossed. This is all before Cecil even rounds third and comes home. Brown gets tossed. Held back by Kennedy and Pudge. Back to the game.
Jeff Bowser to score. Cubs up 2-1. Top 4, Browns next at bat. Didn't like the strike call by Joe West.
Hey, I better say something.
Has a little word there, and West says, see ya. Right if you find work. Have a good evening. Bruce Bochy came out to protest his starting pitcher getting tossed, and he too.
I don't know, turf socks, who knows. Top 7, 3-2 Bucks. Bases loaded for Gary Sheffield. Josias Manzanillo gets him. Imagine if there's only 1 out and he ran off the field like that. How embarrassing would that have been? Kevin Brown ejected between innings. He believes Sheffield was robbed on that strikeout that ended the Dodgers.
8-2, a 3-2 count to Brady Anderson. Anderson thinks it's ball 4. But it's strike 3, and Chuck Merriweather, the home plate umpire, throws Brady Anderson out of the game for arguing balls and strikes. The Tigers hold on to defeat the Orioles 8-2.
Oakland, the Orioles' first game in 3 days, and it looked like they were ready for some action. Pardon me? John Hirschback not appreciating the mid-at-bat diatribe by Brady Anderson.
Next, Brady Anderson up for his pitch, swinging, strike 1, next pitch. And he's looking, didn't like the call. He let the umpire know about it. Hey, Paul, I didn't like that call. And Paul said, you know, I don't like your attitude. Emil rings him up. Brady gives him a word or 2 or 3 or 4, all bad, and he gets tossed. Hargrove comes out to try and restrain his stop.
They're visiting. Third pitch of the game from Jeff Suppan on the top of the first to Brady Anderson. Tim Timmons says, stay right. Anderson argues. And he probably, does he have to shower? I mean, it's the top of the first.
Yeah, he had bad in practice, everything else.
Sweating. To score 7-1 Twins. Bottom 4, it's 8-1, and Chili Davis against Rick Aguilera. Davis goes down and lets home plate umpire Al Clark know he's not happy, and then Clark let Chili know he wasn't happy with him either. And of course, you can't toss the umpire, you can only toss the player, and Davis was tossed. Interim manager John McNamara would go at it with Clark, and McNamara was tossed also.
Davis in the 4th, he's already been punched out by Mike Everett, and he gets it again. And Chili says, I'm just so tired of this, why don't you just throw me out? And Everett does.
There he goes.
Chili changed his mind and said, you know, maybe I didn't want to leave so soon. Let's deal with our anger constructively, shall we?
Top of the 6th, still more umpire problems for the Mariners. Joey Cora takes strike 3 from Gordon. He doesn't agree. And did you learn, Joey? No, you get tossed 2. Third Mariner ejected. It's crowded in the clubhouse. Gordon still has
3 RBIs, 47-48. Seattle within 1. Seattle trying to come back again, but it is the giant pin. Look at the good pick there by Rich Aurelia. Joey Cora had been 4 for 4, thinks he should be 5 for 5. He's probably right. He's unleashing some pent-up hostility against Sam Holbrook, the umpire. Here comes Lou Piniella to join in the fray. Joey got ejected. You know Lou's not soon to follow. There he is.
They're through 5. Top 7, 1-0 Mariners. Runners on first and third. Harang against Cirillo. Tries the bunt. Mike Cameron scores. Cirillo avoids Scott Hatterberg's tag. It's 2-0 Mariners. Take another look. Cirillo originally ruled safe, but he goes out of the baseline to avoid the tag and is called out. Cirillo not happy. He would argue about it, and all that would get him is ejected by home plate umpire Greg Gibson.
Ray Durham in the box. That's a liner up the line. Umpire Mike Winters calls it a foul ball. Now the first base coach Gary Pettis argues that it hit the base and he was ejected. Durham believes it hit the base as well. Anyway, Durham back to hitting, doesn't against Al Duque. And in the dugout, Durham is obviously frustrated and takes out that emotion on his bat. Winters, the umpire, sees all this and decides to throw Ray Durham out. And when Ray heard about this, wow, Jose Valentin had to grab him before he could get to Winters.
Next batter, Bobby Kilty. Hi, have a welt. That's not good.
Bench.
Benches come out. Jeremy Davis issues a warning to both teams, and Brad Radke ignores the warning. He hits Toby Hall. He's ejected immediately. Later in the 6th, Johan.
6-0, Wade Boggs. Like a guy in New York told me, if he says it's a ball, it's a ball. Dennis Martinez thinks it's a strike, and he's so displeased he says bad things, and he's gone. He's ejected.
Ramon Martinez decides to plunk Charlie Hayes, and yes, the festivities begin. And I mean, look at Ramon. He's smart. He's a string bean. Of course he's running away from Hayes. Hayes had to be restrained by Eric Gregg. As a matter of fact, everyone had to be restrained by Eric Gregg. Look at Strawberry. I thought he had a bad back. Hayes thrown out, so was Martinez. There they
Top second, Kevin Foster at the plate. Mets starter Pete Harnish goes for some payback. Bottom 5th, Mets leading 6-3. The Cubs go for their payback. Terry Adams throws behind Harnish, and that's a warning for everybody. But the warning came too late. Harnish had words with former teammate Scott Service, then nails him with the right hand. The bench is clear. An old-fashioned melee breaks out. Paul Wilson right in the middle of it. And say it ain't so. John Franco gets tossed from the game on John Franco Day.
In the top of the 6th inning, Tony Fernandez had a few words for second base umpire Dale Barnett. Kelly Gruber and Manny Lee come over there to try and keep Fernandez away from Dale Barnett, and Cito Gaston came out. Order would be restored, and then Don Mattingly would get a single, and Tony Fernandez would begin arguing with second base umpire Dale Barnett again as the Yankee dugout looked on. And this was a heated exchange as Dale Barnett would eject Tony Fernandez. That brought Cito Gaston back out, and Dale Barnett wasn't even the umpire who made the call. It was Greg Kosk, and Tony Fernandez still upset as John McLaren gets in there, and then watch Cito Gaston push Tony Fernandez and John McLaren away. So Tony Fernandez is ejected from the game by the umpires and by his own manager.